Did you know you're the obstacle to manifesting what you want? There are a million manifestation methods out there, and the assumption with all of them is that you're this beautiful, clear signal broadcasting to the universe what it is that you want to manifest. But the problem is that between you broadcasting and the universe, there's all of the static. So it's like, and the universe returns to you all of that static instead of what it is that you want to manifest. So today I'm going to share with you how to clear your signal. My name is Karen Cheong. I catalyze your shift from the ordinary to the exhilaration of the quantum by giving you the tools to change your frequency resonance so that the life you live matches the life you dream of. So what's causing that static? And how do you get rid of it? Here's the thing. That static is caused by something called distortion patterns. So how do you clear that static? How do you release your distortion patterns? Well, first, you have to even be aware that you're running the distortion pattern. So for example, I have this client. She had just moved to a new country and she was working on her savings, right? So here she was, moved to a new country, moved into this house, and she thought she would find a job within a certain period of time, but she hadn't. And she was starting to run out of money in terms of her savings. And the house that they were in was a little bit too expensive for what it is they could afford. So now she's in a panic because she's got a daughter and she's like, oh my God, how am I going to pay for all this stuff? So what happened was she didn't recognize that she was in these strong patterns of attachment of like, this is what I need to manifest. This is what it's got to look like. This is the timeline in which it's got to show up. And she's like freaking out because she's not getting what it is that she wants. So what she did was to recognize, wait a minute, I'm running these patterns of non-deserving. I'm running these patterns of attachment. And so what she did was she started listening to these group frequency calibration meditations to release her distortion patterns. And literally, after starting to listen to them, within 24 hours, through her network of moms, there was a friend of a friend who had a house for rent for 2/3 of the cost of the house she was in. The house was bigger, had a nicer yard, just a couple blocks away. And not only that, but through that same network of moms, a woman posted saying, hey, I need a new assistant. Is there anyone who can help me? And it's like the perfect job description for her. She goes in for the interview and gets the job. Okay, we gotta back up and explain how things really work. Everything is vibrating. The scientists have been talking about this for quite some time now. And the rate of vibration is what dictates the form of whatever shows up for you. So let's just take something really simple and physical like water. So when the molecules of water are vibrating faster, it's steam. When that molecular vibration slows down, it becomes liquid water. And when the molecular vibration of that slows down even more, it becomes solid or ice. So if you take that idea and you extrapolate it out to consciousness, the oneness, the divine, source, whatever you want to call that very highly resonating consciousness from which everything comes and to which everything returns, that we can't even measure yet with our physical instruments, that is vibrating at an extraordinarily high rate. Okay, so in order for that oneness to be something other than one, there needs to be a drop in vibration. When that vibration drops, things called frequencies are formed. When frequency slows down in vibration, it becomes energy. And when that vibrational level slows down even more, it becomes thoughts, emotions, and the physical, like the stool that you're sitting on or the floor. So everything is vibrating. And the higher the vibration, the more that it dictates what happens in the lower vibration. So the thing is, your distortion happens at the level of frequency. So if you don't deal with it at that level, you're always going to end up stuck and spinning in it. So how do you even know that you're in a distortion pattern? Well, if you're manifesting, it's like you always see the picture of the car that you want to manifest instead of the car itself. You think a lot about what it is that you wish to manifest in terms of the type of relationship you want. And then your friend ends up in that relationship instead of you. So you're running into your distortion patterns. So to look at your life and be like, where am I getting stuck? Because when you're running distortion patterns, you're just in the pain of it. You don't even recognize that you're running a pattern. You're just like, oh my God, my life sucks in this way. And you don't even really notice it. So first, you have to be aware of your distortion patterns and then release them by listening to these group frequency calibrations. The second tip is that emotion and thought are too low in vibration to consistently, effectively, and quickly manifest what it is that you want. So how's this for an awesome example? I was leading a retreat in Scotland for 45 people, and Scotland had been raining like crazy. Like it was the rainiest summer they'd ever experienced. And we had a friend who was even trying to fix his roof for over a year, and he needed 5 dry days in order to fix it. But it hadn't happened that they had 5 days consecutively of not raining for over a year. I was working to bring the group into the quantum level of vibration, and I felt in that moment, hey, it'd be a really great idea to quantum manifest sunny weather, because here we are about to do 3 meditations outside, and it'd be amazing if all the speakers didn't get rained on and people weren't cold and wet. So I manifested sunshine. And the incredible thing is that when we were outside, not only was it not raining, we got clear blue skies, full-on sun, and people were actually getting sunburned. So the vibration of emotion and thought is really at the level of the mind. So a lot of people will watch mind movies, they'll listen to uplifting music, all that stuff to make them feel better, which raises your resonance a bit, but it's not enough for things to consistently manifest for you. You really need to raise your level of vibration or your resonance level to the quantum. When you raise your resonance to the quantum level, now we're at a level of vibration that is at the level of frequency. So now you are more aligned with yourself as consciousness, as limitless, and as co-creator of your reality. So when you get to that level of resonance, things totally change. So to get to that level of quantum manifestation, you really need to release your distortion patterns, get rid of a whole bunch of that mind chatter, and raise your frequency resonance. So click on the link in the description below to get my free Quiet Your Mind group frequency calibration. So, third tip. You need to move into surrender from strength. Okay, now before you all roll your eyeballs at me and you're like, what does that mean? Have you noticed that when you're trying to manifest something, you're really attached to the outcome? And I mean, I get it, right? I mean, why would you be manifesting anything if you weren't wanting what it is that you want to manifest? But the thing is, the more that you attach to the outcome, the less neutral you are, the less in surrender you are. And so therefore, you narrow what it is that you get to experience. You narrow what the universe can give you that is even in excess of what it is that you're trying to manifest. When I first heard of manifestation, it was through a book and a movie called The Secret. When I heard about manifestation for the first time through that book, it blew my mind. I was just like, what? I can manifest stuff that I want? So I would sit there and watch the movie over and over. And I took notes and I figured out what the method was. And then I would practice twice a day, every day. And what I focused on manifesting was an Aston Martin. And the reason I wanted an Aston Martin wasn't because I was particularly a car freak, but it was so outside the realm of what it was that my reality was. My husband and I definitely couldn't afford an Aston Martin. So if I could manifest one, it would mean everything in my life was different. And it would mean we were floating in abundance. So here I was doing this twice a day. And after a year, like I kid you not, every day, twice a day, nothing happened. I was like, this sucks. I suck, whatever. And so I stopped doing it. A few years later, I learned more manifestation modalities. And I do all the things, buy the book, I practice, I envision, I feel, I raise my emotion, nothing. And only when I started to release my distortion patterns around attachment did things start to shift. So fast forward a few years, and here we are, Chris and myself, my husband Chris and I, selling our house in Hawaii. Now, When we sold our house in Hawaii, we happened to do it at a time that was what many would consider a poor time to sell. The volcano that was on the island happened to erupt, which, you know, isn't great for selling a view home because what do you see when you look out the window? Fog. The tech market had softened and there were a lot of tech layoffs, so the stock market had dropped, and everyone was predicting that the whole housing market, especially in a secondary housing market like Hawaii, was going to tank. So the amazing thing is that I was able to keep my frequency resonance up, and so was my husband, Chris. And we were manifesting the best outcome, whatever that would be, despite the fact that the rest of the market was tanking. And people had houses on the market, selling under asking and sitting on the market. Ours sold with multiple offers and $75,000 over asking. Our real estate agent was flabbergasted. She was like, oh my God, you guys have created this little bubble around yourself. I don't even know how you did it. The crazy thing is that when we closed escrow and looked at how much we'd made from the house, we could have bought multiple Aston Martins. So not being attached to any particular outcome and being in neutrality and surrender really affects how much you can manifest at the quantum level. Do you want to learn more? Check out this next video. See you inside.